Entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals who seek excellence, bringing the business classroom to you. It's the Business Builders Show. Here's Marty Wolf.
We still got a long way to go. Yes, we all got a long way to go.
Welcome to the Business Builders Show with Marty Wolf, and today with our guest host, J. Kelly Hoey. Along with Kelly and our executive producer, DC Taylor, we will be your guides on this learning journey. To learn more about Kelly, check out her website at jkellyhoey.co. That's jkellyhoey.co. Okay, Kelly, let's get the conversation going.
Thanks, Marty. This is Kelly Hoey, guest host of the Business Builders Show, and I am absolutely thrilled today to have my friend Nisa Amoils on here. Hey, Nisa, how are you?
Good. Hi, Kelly. So happy to be here.
So for those who don't know, other than the fact that she is my friend, she's a former securities lawyer. She is an early stage investor in something called Frontier Technology, which we will dive in to figure out what that is. She's a regular on CNBC and MSNBC, Fox, Cheddar, and all sorts of others, sits on various boards and institutions, including Wharton Entrepreneurship. So yeah, you know something about this subject, and holds a business degree from the University of Michigan. And a law degree from the University of Pennsylvania. Whoa. All right. And more importantly, one of the things we're going to talk about today, why you're here, is your new book, because, you're not like you don't have enough going on. WTF, Women Tech Founders on the Rise. What is happening? We're going to learn all about it. But with all you've got going on, and particularly, I know what it takes and the involvement of being an early stage investor. Why did you write this book? And what do you hope it will do?
Yes, absolutely. Well, you're part of my inspiration, Kelly. I wrote this book because I was last year meeting with a very large fund in the blockchain space, and I asked the male partner, how many female founders are in your portfolio? And he said, does that exist in this sector? So I thought it was a moral imperative that I needed to write it. And of course, it does exist. There are tons of amazing female founders in frontier tech. It's just that they don't get as much attention as some of the other female founders. So I decided it was very important to shine a light on them, as well as make the business case for why it's so important to be investing in them for the future.
And I'm part of me, of course, my hair's lighting on fire when someone's like, do they exist? I remember a conversation I had with an investor when I was doing this startup accelerator. And he said, well, I meet every single startup in New York. How are you going to, why are you going to get something different? And I thought, oh, my God, the arrogance to think you know everybody. Wow.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. We've said it twice now. What the heck is frontier tech for those who don't know?
So frontier tech is just a term used to describe technology that's emerging and disruptive. And I think it's categorized to be the different categories that actually I write about in the book, which are robotics and drones, virtual and augmented reality, autonomous mobility, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and blockchain and cryptocurrencies.
Those would be all sorts of things to dive into. Okay, there we go. There's front. And why were you attracted to all of that? Why that versus, let's just ask sort of the female investor thing. Why those categories versus, e-commerce?
Right. Well, I started off as a generalist investing in all kinds of areas. So I started to gravitate more towards this area, I'd say about 6-7 years ago. Mostly just because I found it to be more interesting about building the future, and instead of correcting problems that have already happened, like in finance and in tech, where we have such low percentages of women, I thought that there would be a clean slate going forward in something new, where, women would have some equal opportunity so that we wouldn't have to be fixing these problems, that we could create them in a better way.
I would say create solutions versus, kind of mopping up once again.
Right.
We're going to talk about your book. But first of all, let's just dive into this. Where can people find you? Where can they find the book?
So the best place to find the book is probably Amazon, and it's a bestseller. So that was exciting. And
Congratulations! That's
thank
awesome.
you. The best place to find me is probably Twitter at Amoils Nisa or LinkedIn. Those are the platforms I tend to spend the most time on.
Awesome. And we will put links to the book and your Twitter account and LinkedIn profile, website, all that good stuff in the show notes for this show. Okay, let's dive into your book. As you say on page 22, women are creating Jetson-esque, for those old enough to remember the Jetsons, the Jetson-esque future for us today. There's a perception of the types of companies women start and the reality you share in your book. Talk about some of the companies in the book that you have, and you've kind of hinted at it, but give us some examples from the book of some of these Jetson-esque technologies women are creating.
Sure. Well, so there are 13 women profiled in the book. 8 of them are primarily using blockchain technology. That would be in remittances or payments like BitPesa and Elizabeth Rosiello. It could be in supply chain disruption, for example, what Leanne Kemp does with Everledger and the diamond industry. And it could also be just building out, new exchanges for cryptocurrencies or new data platforms like Tong Tong Gong from Amber Data does. On the other hand, it could, be in realms of virtual reality like Carrie Shaw did with Embody Labs. And she has a really unique story because her mother was sick and she became the primary caretaker. And she wanted to have a better understanding from the patient's point of view about how to help her. And so she actually created this virtual reality platform where you can experience what it's like to be the patient as a caregiver. So I think that's really amazing.
Okay, so I had to mute myself because, of course, I was screaming like, holy shit. Like,
yeah.
When we think of virtual reality, we're thinking like Avatar and let's go play a game or we're going to be on the battlefield. But to put yourself in the shoes of a patient so that you can have so much more empathy and understanding, that's incredible.
Yeah. And a lot of what virtual reality does as a platform is about empathy, which why I think it's so important that more women go into that field because they're known for that more so. And you don't want to get into situations that I've seen where, your avatar is being groped in a game, that's not the way we want to use this technology going forward. We want to use it for constructive purposes.
Yeah, we got enough of the Me Too problem in the real world. We don't need it. We don't need it in the virtual world too. Thanks very much on that one. Like, that's incredible. For those who are like listening to the show and thinking, oh my God, these women are creating these amazing things, but I can't do that. I don't have a, tech background. Want to bust that myth on creating a breakthrough company in terms of what kind of experience you need to have to give you the right credentials to be a founder in frontier tech?
Sure. I mean, yeah, that is a common myth that you have to have a STEM degree, right? Science, technology, engineering, math. And, a lot of women have that, which is great. And we want to encourage more young women to go into those fields. And the way it's marketed right now, it's kind of intimidating. But if it's marketed in a way that, you are able to envision a future and then you can actually have the tool set to build that future, that's a lot more appealing for young women to go into. But there are plenty of women in the book who just had either design degrees or business degrees or, had no technical computer science background, cryptography background, none of that, and still are building amazing, successful companies. So I don't think it's necessary. And it's also definitely not necessary to be an investor in the space to have that degree either, as I can attest to.
Yes, look, I was saying, and I say there's going to be a healthy dose of curiosity and a willingness to learn and critical thinking and
Right.
those so-called soft skills. I think one of the women you highlighted, particularly in terms of not having a tech background, was Olga with her company Lobster. Do you want to just tell her what her background?
Yeah, no, absolutely. She had a design background. She wanted to use images in advertising that were not so just one-dimensional, that represented the broader population. And so she used artificial intelligence to create algorithms that would pick images for ads that are more diverse. So I think it's an amazing use of artificial intelligence, actually.
Yeah, damn, some of these simple problems. Let me remind everyone again, speaking with Nisa Amoils, the author of Women Tech Founders on the Rise. WTF is happening, and a lot is happening, and it's exciting stuff. Marty, you're being terrifically quiet in the background. You might have been having your holy moment when, talking about all of this stuff, but what's going through your mind, Marty?
I'm ready. Welcome, Nisa. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
I did
Likewise.
read the book, and just a quick comment and then, I guess two comments. The depth and the breadth of the interviews were very impressive in the book. Different countries, different cultures, different backgrounds. And I particularly liked, and I probably won't get the name right, Fatima Hamdani, I can't say it, Krauss Aerospace. I love that.
Right.
Say the name for me so I get it right.
Fatima Hamdani.
There you go. And what I really like is you start off this chapter talking about her. She says, I was born in India but grew up in Dubai. I always felt I was an expatriate there. So I moved to India to complete both a master's in hospital administration and an MBA. I didn't feel at home in India either. Only when I moved to New York 19 years ago did I feel I had arrived at home. And then also on page 79, what she says is also always focus on the so what of technology. Don't build something just because it sounds cool. Would you like to respond to that last comment?
I love that, by the way. That's something I say all the time to blockchain entrepreneurs. Don't build it just because you can. Build it to actually solve a problem or to make people's lives better. I love her interview. I love that New York became her home. Woohoo! Yeah, it's just amazing. And there's so few women in general in aerospace, in flight, in general. It was hard to find. So I was really glad to have her in the book because there's so much happening right now, Jetson-esque, with vertical takeoff and landing.
Mm-hmm.
I just read this morning that Bloomberg did a whole spread on that about all the companies building these passenger drones that soon, will be flying to our offices, right? Instead of taking Ubers, or Uber Elevate we'll be using. So I just love that part of. I love the Jetsons growing up, and I love that, in our lifetimes, we could see something like that happening.
Okay, I love the Jetsons too. I'm waiting for the maid. Can we just get seriously? Buzzing off to the office. You know what? I'm good with my feet in the subway. The maid, I could really go for.
Right? And that's already almost possible with these very lifelike robots. And with artificial intelligence intersecting there, that's, we're hopefully all going to have those maids soon, right? That would be nice.
That would be good. One of the things I think that comes through with all of these women, and I hate using this word, it's passion. But that drive is essential if you're going to persist in face of all these odds as an entrepreneur. Talk about how passion is fueling these women to success.
Yeah. I mean, it's like going back to Carrie Shaw's story. It's personal, right? It's her mother. She's sick. She's, determined to find a solution. I think you have to, all entrepreneurs, any gender, it is overused, but it is true because there's so many obstacles in your way. You just have to keep on getting up every day, keep trying, forget yesterday and look forward to the present moment and just tackle those small obstacles as they come.
Yeah, because if you focus on the big ones, you'll never get started.
Right.
What are the lessons in WTF for future leaders, for younger women? Because I know that was an important audience for you.
Yeah, I mean, it is, to enter into these fields. It's hopefully they get inspired by these stories and more of them want to join in. And it's really the main other purpose of the book is that, as you know, women still receive only 2% of all funding, despite all of these achievements and all the data in the book about how they outperform. And so it's really about how do you get a macro reallocation of capital to these women. And what's happening now is good. There's more female angels. There's 80 gender lens funds. There's all these alternative models for financing, but that 2% number never moves. And so in order for it to move, it really has to come from the real pensions, endowments, sovereign wealth funds, the real holders of capital, recognizing that if they're seeking alpha, this is a place that they should be investing in. It's not really even about impact or moral imperative. This is about making money. If you're not looking here, you're missing out.
Yeah. It's like sort of a poor investment thesis not to invest in women that way. And what I would add on to that is yes to the big endowments, yes to the big pension funds. But they're made up of tiny investors, and so all the people out there who are putting their money into things, they should be demanding, kind of explanation of why past pattern matching in terms of who these institutions are investing in, get some more diversity there because it's frankly just going to be better for your portfolio. Why do you think it's so hard for male investors to find and fund women-led companies?
Yeah, I mean, you've heard this many times, is that I can't find them. Where are they? That there's a pipeline problem, that there's so few of them. But if you're looking in all the same places that you're traditionally looking in, you're never going to find them, right? So it's about looking in different places and committing to that goal, right? And I know people try and then they say things like, well, but that woman didn't have that one skill that I was looking for on my list. Maybe there's 10 other ones that she did have.
Right. And show me that every male in your portfolio has also checked all those boxes.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, the things we could go off on. Right. I got one more question. Marty, you got any more questions? Because I want to give you time.
Well, thank you for that. Just another quick comment.
It is your show, after all. I like to give you a little airspace.
Thank you. Rachel Thomas. I loved all of them, but I'm pointing out a couple things. Fast.ai. And you're kind of saying this, but in page 147, she says, secondly, learning is not a race. I love that thought process, Nisa. Is that you gotta study, you gotta learn, you gotta maybe not succeed, and you gotta keep going. And she talked about taking a class, and she said, well, I didn't really hated that, but then I got a new instructor. I look at it a different way, and voila, here I am taking a real analysis course. I love that thought process.
Yeah, she's gone on to teach others about artificial intelligence too, which is amazing. Yeah,
exceptional.
And how you become the best learner is by being a teacher. Yeah, it's definitely a process. Yep. And yeah, it's a great quote.
And again, I think when you see people succeeding are those who continually invest in their own education and learning, not just sort of, okay, I've arrived, that's the end. And you know what, maybe we kind of brush it off, or maybe we just sort of like, why doesn't everyone do this, Nisa? Because we come from the practice of law, where we practice law. There's never like an ultimate destination of like never having to learn. So I don't know. I don't understand the lack of investment in that education and being a constant learner.
Yeah. Well, I often say that being, so heavily focused as a blockchain investor, it's a learner's paradise because it's changing so fast. It's changing every day. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really, as you say, like law school teaches you how to think more than anything else. And every day there's some regulatory intervention that is happening in that space. So it's really exciting.
Well, I mean, there is a great way to kind of sift out who are the founders that you want to invest in, given that at the early stage it's always about the team. Are they a team of learners? And I love that you just said blockchain is a learner's paradise. So there's a tidbit I'm going to take. If anyone pitches you on blockchain, if the team's not a bunch of curious learners, run.
Right. Exactly.
All right. I got to ask you the big question. What innovations and disruptive technologies are you most excited about right now?
Oh, didn't I already give it away? Yeah. All of the blockchain is a tool for democratizing access to capital, really taking what the Jobs Act did a few years ago with crowdfunding and putting that on steroids, making transfers of private equity more liquid, more transparent, more automated, and more trustworthy, I think is huge. So what the internet did to media, which, we were around back then, this is not the first rodeo. This is happening now. It is disrupting financial services and other areas. But I think that is the most exciting thing is you can be literally, from Uganda and running your own business and investing in some private equity deal in the United States, and then having that token be liquid within a year, being able to trade it on exchanges. Like, wow, that's really incredible innovation.
Wow.
Well, even just the liquidity on it is amazing, by the fact that you can be anywhere and that you have it's trusted and secure and all the rest of it. Amazing stuff. It has been such a pleasure, my friend, to hear your voice, not just see your tweets. And
likewise.
Congratulations on having this best-selling book. Kudos for writing it. I know what it takes to do all that. So we will put the links on the show. We'll get you to come back, talk more blockchain and exciting stuff. And thank you so much for being on the Business Builder Show.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening to the Business Builder Show. To learn more about me, and I'm Marty Wolff, go to MartyWolfBusinessSolutions.com. That's MartyWolfBusinessSolutions.com. To learn more about Kelly Hoey, go to her website, which is jkellyhoey.co. That's jkellyhoey.co. And of course, you can find Kelly and Marty on LinkedIn and Twitter. A reminder, you can find all our Business Builders shows on iTunes, Spotify, and on your favorite podcast app.
Bringing the business classroom to you. It's the Business Builders Show with Marty Wolff.